Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and occasionally I get people who are like, you know what, you seem to love barbell training and promote it more than anyone else on YouTube, as almost as if it's the most important form of exercise people could do. And you know what? Actually believe that. I believe that it is. And I'm not saying people shouldn't do cardio. I'm not saying they shouldn't do GPP work. It's the stuff I do. I do cardio every day. But when it comes down to bang for your buck, when we are talking about the greatest social good that could be done in terms of helping society collectively with their overall health and well-being, barbell training is probably the single most beneficial activity that you can do. And I do mean that across the board. I don't just mean for young guys trying to get a football scholarship. I am talking about literally every person walking the face of the earth, particularly in countries right now like America, where we have obesity problems and all these various diseases that ravage us due to our prosperity and access to plenty. Barbell training offers the most good, and the reasons for that come down to what we know about strength training and longevity, disease prevention. Even when you look at stuff at older age, what was the data we've seen that I've linked before in the past? Leg strength was highly correlated in people over 60 with better memory, better cognition, lower Alzheimer's rates. In other words, less deterioration of the brain. Leg strength. Well, what gives people the most leg strength? When you really talk about real leg strength, you really think you get that off of a machine? Really think you get that off running? No. Big barbell movements, squats, deadlifts, cleans, things like that. Those are the things that are going to build your lower body up. Those are the things going to build your lower body up. When it comes to preserving your back in old age, what is it that we've noted? That people who do axial loading exercises retain the most bone density, they lose the least height, and they maintain stronger spines into old age. They maintain stronger spines into old age. Again, exercises done with a barbell, particularly standing exercises done with a barbell, load your spine up with resistance. In other words, this is the key to maintaining a better spine going into your old age and through life. It reduces your chances of having back problems if these exercises are performed correctly and with proper resistance and proper training protocols. Right there, some of this aging stuff immediately becomes apparent. When we come to things like diabetes, cancer, all of that, the research shows that regular resistance training reduces cancer rates by 50%, just immediately. All right, as a demographic, people who lift weights have a 50% lower cancer rate. When people who do lift weights get cancer, they survive it at twice the rate of other people. Any form of cancer, if you lift weights, you double your chances of surviving, beating it, and moving forward with your life. So again, why barbell movements? Why does that matter? Couldn't machines do that? Sure, but machines involve less muscle mass. The benefits to cancer have to do with increased insulin sensitivity throughout the muscles of your entire body. Big barbell exercises have the most potential to build the most muscle mass through the entirety of your body. The more muscles that get stimulated with adaptation and get stimulated with additional hypertrophy, the higher your insulin sensitivity goes. So in other words, barbells are the best tool we have available. Out of all the tools that we have, exercise equipment we have available, barbells offer the most potential for increasing insulin sensitivity through the body the most. That lowers cancer rates, increases the chances of cancer survival. Cancer is one of the leading causes of death in the Western world. One of the leading causes of death. Diabetes. People who lift weights regularly have 80% lower diabetes rates, 70 to 80% lower diabetes rates in the general population. Again, we go back to insulin sensitivity. Out of all the tools you have available in the gym, which tools have the potential to stimulate the most muscle mass for every minute you spend training? Barbells. Nothing else competes. Even weighted body weight exercises, the next best thing, aren't quite on that level because you can't get enough loading on the lower body. Squats, deadlifts, standing presses, push presses, power cleans, those things. Standing rows. Exercises that load the entire body, that stimulate the most muscle mass through the entire body, give you the best defense against diabetes. And I'm not saying diet doesn't matter. Diet's massively important. But resistance training combined with diet, there's your key. That's your key right there. What else? Osteoporosis. All right, osteoporosis. Same thing. People who have leg strength don't get the same osteoporosis problems in their hips later in life. I already know people who I went to high school with who've had to have hip replacement surgeries. All right, a lot of you out there listening, younger guys and girls, you're not that far away. You're probably thinking, I'm 20 now, I'm 25 now. Trust me, 30, 35, 40 is going to come a lot faster than you think it will. And when it comes down to preventing these problems that I've just listed, getting under a heavy barbell is going to do more for you than all the cable curls and hammer strength chest machines could ever do. Heart disease, obesity, all these things, again, what gives you the highest metabolic rate? Adding muscle mass. So you combine barbell training, which adds the most potential muscle mass, with a bit of cardio on top of it. Well, your chances of becoming obese go down. You have to work a lot harder to be obese, don't you? You need a hell of a lot more food. We get the most potential metabolic increase from this. We come over to heart disease. Not to jump over obesity that fast, because obesity is, again, ravaging the Western world. We have a 40% obesity rate in the United States right now. 40%. Now, we need to change our dietary habits, absolutely. But changing your dietary habits is not physical activity. When we go back to which physical activity is going to give you the most metabolic increase in calorie burn for your time investment, weight training does that. Weight training does that. In addition to all those other health benefits that we've listed right there, you're less likely to be obese. I'm not saying you can't do it. Plenty of people do it, get very strong and get obese, but it's harder. It gives you a bigger buffer. So you have that, and then we have the cardiovascular disease, heart attack, the leading cause of death in the United States. Leading cause of death. Well, we go back to that point. Better insulin sensitivity, more muscle mass, less likely to have more body fat, you're less likely to have a heart attack. When you start looking at the total amount of social good that barbell training can bring, the ability to make everything stronger in your body, your bones, this is a big deal. What about accidents? What about preventing you from being hurt? Again, everyone worries about gun violence. You know what? People who lift weights survive gunshots at a higher rate. They do. Not saying it's the ultimate defense, because, at the end of the day, you could still very easily die from a bullet no matter what. It gives you an extra buffer. It increases your odds. How about car wrecks, car accidents? I've known of people, as I remember my mother was a nurse, and they had in the ICU, they had a young football player who was so injured, a college ball player actually, was so injured in a car wreck that they were surprised he'd live. And the doctors had stated, because of his muscle mass and his bone density and everything, was probably the only reason he survived. Now, he was in ICU, and he was pretty crippled. He was pretty beat up from it. He had multiple bones broken, like his arm, his leg, ribs, all sorts of stuff. Like his ribs were actually broken. He was pretty beat up, but he survived. He survived. And he was even talking about lying in the bed of being able to want to get back into training. That was going to be really important for him. Again, because he knew right then, as an athlete already, that getting back in and lifting again, the ability to do so and rehab himself is going to give him the best fighting chance. So when people wonder why I really promote barbell stuff, why I start to say, I'm glad that powerlifting is getting more popular. Maybe we need to make Olympic lifting more popular. Hell, I may not like everything about CrossFit, but at least they're promoting barbell work. It should be pretty obvious when you look at these benefits of why barbell training really is the best tool that we have available for all of these things, it is important that we push this into mainstream society as much as possible. The payoff is absolutely enormous. And we really need to be pushing forward, getting more gyms on board with this, more free weights, more barbells, less machines, and get competent trainers and coaches and people who work at the gym who can actually teach people how to do these things. We really need a lot more of that. Alright guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.